Hey, Belinda, how are you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Outstanding. Good to see you.
And you?
I understand you're CEO of your own business. What business is that?
I'm been made the managing director of a mediation company. So I do have a partner, a silent partner. So yeah, I've been designated to take over the role.
Okay. Mediation in terms of negotiations between parties, or?
Yes, yes. So it's the company. Sorry, couples that are separating or divorcing.
Got it.
Yes,
Okay. Mediation in relationship.
yeah. Yeah, financial and parenting issues.
Got it. And the main issue for yourself, you said about asking better questions. What's
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
from that? Will you give me some context?
Yes, I just needing to know where my place is and how to improve things. I've been handed it to take over and get to a better turnover, and I just feel like it's already going so well. I don't know how to improve it to take it to the next level. I don't know if I'm asking the right questions or doing the right things. I'm sort of going by what I've learned and followed Alistair, who started the company. I followed what he's done, and then I sort of trying to find my way, but I'm scared to try and find my way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, understood. It's there's a level of expectation that you feel you need to look up to or live up to, and if you
Yeah.
don't do that, you think that the weight's on your shoulders for taking responsibility for the business not progressing in the way that you feel it should.
Yes, yes.
What do you make it mean if it doesn't move in the direction you want?
It feels like I'm failing.
You're essentially assessing yourself based upon the results that the business does,
Yes,
and if the business doesn't do anything, you're going to take personal responsibility in a way that makes you feel as if, yeah, it's your fault, you're a failure. And
yes.
while there's a level of accountability that's useful there, what isn't useful is taking us forward with that level of burden, psychological burden, mental burden, because that's actually walking into the ring with a whole load of ankle weights already around you, hoping that you're going to be able to run fast enough. It happens a lot when we get a situation that we have been put into that we don't have a lot of experience in, and therefore we don't have references for the levels of to overcome the levels of uncertainty that are inherent with the new position, for example.
Mm.
And so we need to recognize what's actually going on, because the only thing you can do is your best. We obviously know that nobody knows all the answers, and you've been given an opportunity here to essentially put your stamp, your genius, your thumbprint into the direction of the business.
Absolutely.
As a managing director, you manage the direction.
Yes, and that's what I'm afraid of.
Well, you're afraid of not managing the direction of where it's been directed to before.
Yes.
But that's now not your concern.
No.
Your concern is you now get to take the wheel. You get to take it in whichever direction you feel is right. That's why they've hired you. Now, yes, they have expectations, but they don't understand that the uniqueness that you bring is going to overspill into how that business now moves forward with you at the helm. There's not like 200 shareholders here that are all trying to vote and have their own projections. You've got one partner. It's gone in one direction. They wouldn't have put you in if they didn't believe you had the ability to do it. And life wouldn't have put you in if it hadn't have been the perfect move for you in your movie right now. So the first thing we need to look at is, what am I getting concerned with when it comes to understanding the moves I need to make? Because where we get wrapped around the axle is that we think we need to know the next 5-10 moves and have them all work out. Life doesn't work that way.
No.
I'm going to get upset about trying to control things I can't control, make decisions that I don't know what the outcome is, and therefore I'm going to live in a perpetual state of stress, hoping to hit the bullseye. That needs to change. What we need is not to try to be good enough to get all the answers. If I go on stage, or if I go in front of an audience and I ask 4 questions, I have a lot of certainty around being able to answer the questions, but for different reasons than what most people think. You'll see the parallel here. If I was to have the kind of certainty most people want, It's because I've rehearsed every possible question I could be asked, and I've sat up all night trying to think of the best answers. That doesn't happen. Right? Because I don't care how many questions you memorize or try to anticipate. There are always going to be questions you don't know the answers to or you can't prepare for. So you need a better system for being able to have that level of certainty. And the phrase I want to teach you is all the answers are in alpha. And what is alpha? Alpha is a brainwave state where your inner world is more primary than your outer world. In other words, the messages that come through in your inner world are very subtle. You can't hear them if you have got your attention on the outer world. And when your brain waves are operating higher than alpha, by definition, your focus is listening louder to the outer world. It's prioritizing that and basically tells the inner world to shut up. And whenever you get stressed, anxious, worried about making the right decision, the brain's response there is to put you into a beta brainwave state because it doesn't understand the difference between fear and danger. Fear is essentially to get your attention to point to something in the outside world that's dangerous. That's how fear evolved. So when we get scared, not of the danger in the outside world, but of making the wrong decision, which is an inside world deal, we paradoxically lose the ability to listen to what the best decision is going to be from the inside. What you need is a new guidance system, one that you can trust a lot more than stressed out trying to figure it out. And that's where two things need to happen. You need a physical hack that allows you to get into alpha, and you need a context frame for letting go of some of your perceived insecurities around getting it wrong. Now, question, whose movie do you star in?
Mine.
So why are you acting like a film extra in your silent partner's movie?
It feels safer.
But that's not why you're here.
No.
Yeah, you want to play it safe, go on welfare.
No.
Right? You want to play it safe, never be rejected, stay single. And lonely. You get the idea.
Yes.
So the first thing is to understand, we're not here to play safe in the amusement park of life. We're here to go on the rides. And the way that we actually understand which rides we want to experience is down to the feedback we get from how we ride the rides. So you've been invited onto a ride called managing director of this new part of the park. As the star of your movie, you don't need to worry about what anybody else thinks of the role that you're playing. If you get outside of owning your role, you'll get worried about what you think other people think of you in this role. There's a level of certainty that has to come in where you own the role. Mm-hmm. Hey, you may not like the ride. You may not want to go back on this ride. You may, at some reason, your higher self may want you to step off this ride. That's okay, because you're here to act in your movie, own your truth, and be the best you can. This may be the perfect stepping stone of learning what to do and what not to do that sets you up for the next incredible part of your journey after this. Now, just holding that as a possibility, what comes up for you?
That I am in control. I do know what I need to do. I'm stopping myself by overthinking it.
Mm-hmm. Again, thinking is where beta comes in. Mm-hmm. It's what you have to rely on to try to outwit the tiger that's creeping around outside the cave.
Yeah.
But the answers aren't in beta. Where are they? Answers are in alpha. You get access to alpha through being able to run an exercise, which we're going to do in a moment. So give me one situation where you feel stressed on a decision that you need to make right now with regards to the role in the business.
How to take the next step forward in making the jump between AI and pushing it to an automated system where we can help clients without physically having the manpower in the office. So it's knowing where to go in the automation, what the next step is.
Okay. And are you a specialist in that?
No. I'm looking for ways to make it automated and knowing where to look and not overcomplicating it, but taking it the right step at a time.
Yeah, understood. Knowing that you don't know what the right step is.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Understanding that if we adopt a belief right now, even if you have to just pretend, or invite the left brain to play along.
Okay.
I want you to play the game of, I can't get it wrong. Because if we put in the destination where we want to go into the GPS and we miss the junction, what does the GPS do?
Just reroutes us.
Reroutes us. Why? Because we're focused on the destination. Now, the GPS doesn't know everything. It's pretty smart, but there's a lot of consistently moving parts. It doesn't know that in 5 minutes, 2 miles ahead of you, there may be an accident. It doesn't know that there may be a detour. Your job is to consistently follow the next step that's presented, knowing that your overall destination is clear and set. So my next question is, do you have a destination set for the business in terms of 12 months from now, what it's going to look like?
Yes.
Okay. And how clear is that in terms of articulation? Is it written? Is it verbose? Is it cursory? Is it general idea?
It's a general idea, but yeah.
Okay, so I've got a general idea that I want to go to the restaurant somewhere in town.
Yeah.
SatNav's not going to work with that.
No.
And part of what's coming up on there in terms of the anxiety or stress or panic or fear around decisions is that you don't have the clarity as to what that looks like. Now, it doesn't have to be in detail around details you don't currently know.
Okay.
You don't know how many staff. You don't know who they're going to be. You don't know what customers are going to be the ideal customers or not, which ones. But you can create, in 12 months from now, this is the vision that I have for this business in terms of its efficiency, its profitability, its levels of automation, how the clients you work with feel, how wonderful it is to do business, how easy it is to attract partners or joint ventures or collaborations. You can have some level of articulation around 12 months from now where you've taken this business or where you would like this business to be, correct?
Yes.
So step one is to get that as a vision.
Okay.
Not in your head. The clearer you can program that SatNav, that GPS, the easier it's going to be to get you to where it is you want to go. Because the reason you're panicking is because you're trying to figure it all out.
Mm.
You're not designed to figure it out. You're designed to follow instructions.
Mm.
If you can't hear the instructions because the radio's blasting and you can't hear the SatNav say, take the next turn on the left, you're going to be panicking, wondering if you've missed the junction, if you've made the right junction. You get the idea.
Yes.
So step one. For now, we will work with a limited idea of where you want to go. So don't want to spend half an hour now writing it out.
Okay.
But just hold a current situation in mind at this point as to where you want to go.
Yes.
In terms of a decision in the business. Now, when you think about getting that right or wrong, there is a level of uncertainty that shows up. Where do you feel that?
My gut.
You go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And describe the feeling.
It's like you're about to go into exam you haven't prepped for, or you haven't studied for.
Uncertainty, unprepared, inadequate, not good enough, want to be hopeful, but your heart and mind are not aligning in that level of agreement. So let's take this from a different place. If we were to get into an alpha state and remove the stresses and the cortisol that the body is generating as a result of those feelings and see what shows up. And we're going to do it in 120 seconds by running through a very simple technique that drops your brain waves into alpha. Here's what we're going to do. I want you to imagine that the answer that you get or the decision that you're going to make, regardless of what it is just going to work out. It'll be the right one. You trust that there's something smarter than you that's going to help you make the decision. And I'm going to guide you through a breathing technique that simply breathes in through the nose for 6 seconds, 0 pause, and out through the nose for 6 seconds. And we're going to do that 10 times, 120 seconds, 2 minutes. During that process, I'll give the count so you don't have to worry about the count. I want you to focus on smiling, relaxing, and allowing it to be okay no matter what the answer is. Because sometimes you need to get the dart off the board in order to adjust the throw. So the first person that you hire to help you with the automations may turn out to be a disaster on first look. That's okay, because they'll show you what not to hire next time, which will lead you to the person you really want that's not available right now. You get the idea?
Yes.
You allow the river to wind without trying to force the bends. So have an issue in mind that you're looking for answers to. That right now you're uncertain of, could go this way, I could make this decision, I'm not quite sure which way to go, trying to figure it out. You've got that, right? Okay. Next, get a vision of being okay with whatever answer shows up, because it's always going to lead you to the right place, even if it's non-linear. Okay.
Yeah.
Then we can smile. And then I'm going to start my clock. And first of all, empty all the air out of your nose. All the way, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out, breathe out. Anything left, breathe it out. And then smile, hold that energy and breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. 2, 5. 6 is out. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in. And out. So you can just keep the breath as a circular breath. Keep that smile. And in. There we go. And out. Notice how long the breath tends to naturally lengthen, but just follow it in. And in. There we go. Out. There's 1 minute. And in. Starting to feel the cortisol just leaving the body. And out. That's it, through the nose. And in. Try to keep the breath steady and constant. So you're gauging it for the whole 6 seconds. Out. And in. And out. And in. Keep smiling. And out. And in for the last time. And out. Nice and gentle. Now keep that pattern going and just feel how different the body feels right now. Now from here, without verbalizing, without bringing the mind into it, without any of the incessant chatter, get a sense of what the next best move could be. Hold in the vision and what comes up. Don't think, allow, tune in.
So I can see where we're gonna be. I can see that we. I know the direction and it's gonna be okay, and that I'm gonna hit the nail on the head when it comes to choosing that platform that we need for that my next step.
And what's the next practical step that you would need to take?
To contact the person that I'm thinking of in mind and get them just to give me a demonstration. Just tell me how hypothetically it would look.
What kind of positioning could you create that would make it compelling for them to want to do business with you?
The big client base that we have and how it would promote their systems even more if we were to get this successful.
So being able to almost invite them to be part of the case study with you.
Exactly.
How easy was that?
Yeah. It was. If you could just hold my hand for the next 25 decisions, that'd be great.
I've already given you a way where you can hold your own hand.
Yes.
So a lot of the time we're so busy being busy that with the demands that we psychologically place on ourselves, and I choose that language for a reason, it keeps us in a beta brainwave state. Evolutionarily, it's designed to. As I said, fear is nature's way of pointing us towards physical danger. It serves a useful purpose as a warning sign on the dashboard. So the body responds to make the outer world a priority so that you can avoid the snake or wrestle the tiger or whatever it may be. But that absolutely cuts us off from our sense of intuition, our gut feel, our willingness to trust something that is beyond our sense data. And it's kind of like use it or lose it. If your GPS is constantly giving you the route, even if it's bring you back on track because you made the wrong decision, the challenge is it doesn't talk in language. If we understand we live in a virtual reality, that's beyond question now. EMF module 1. So if we are watching a movie, what we see is on screen the data of the actors speaking and driving cars and what have you. But when we download that information to our computer, it doesn't come in that version, but quicker. It comes in a different level of communication, ones and zeros. Yeah. When you tune into alpha, you will have what we would call the downloads. Common name is intuition. Yeah. Aha moments, eureka moments, gut feel. Ideas pop in. We don't go out trying to catch them like a butterfly net and a butterfly. We allow them to download from the place that they always are, because the quantum field contains every possibility, including the most ideal solution to your perceived problems. Now, once we are okay with accepting that as a possibility, as a frame of reference, we don't have to worry about making the right decisions. We simply tune in. There's a DIY channel on TV, and we've got a hammer and a drill, and we have no idea how to put the shelf up, and we're getting stressed. Well, no, turn on the DIY channel. The answers are there. And when we own that internally as a resource, you never really get stressed unless you get too impacted by the outer world with the imagination creating the drama, the thinking I'm not good enough because if I don't get this decision right, then my world's going to end. Your world's not going to end. You're the star of your movie. If you were driving down the road and you had a low fuel light, what would that tell you?
Need to fill up.
Go get some fuel. If you didn't have the low fuel light, you're going to get stuck at the side of the road. Awkward. So the low fuel light is very useful. There's no point getting scared or upset by the low fuel light. We get thankful for the low fuel light, 'cause if it wasn't there, it would be a different day on our schedule. So when you get the anxiety or the panic or the fear, it's simply the low fuel lights, the warning light on the dashboard simply saying, oh, you're too focused on the outer world trying to figure it out yourself. You've drifted too far away from the answers. Time to come back. Whereas what most people do is they see that warning light and it makes them even more panicky. And now they're driving around in circles faster and faster and wonder why they run out of fuel. So what I want you to do here is really understand there is no pressure on you. There's pressure on you if you try to control what you can't control or guess at answers that you don't know are right or wrong. In which case, you get a warning light on the dashboard. Great. What is that telling us now?
Guidance on where to go.
Tune back in. Something, if you tune in and you get an answer that doesn't make sense, but it feels right, get excited about the surprise on how it's going to show up. So you do that, and you're always carrying around the DIY channel. You never have to worry about, oh my God, what if I don't know how to screw this nail into the wall or whatever. So in your morning practice, this is where the ideas come from. You set your intention because it's sometimes a little hard. If cortisol is running, there's a bit of inertia with it, which is why the 6 seconds in practice is so powerful. But in the morning, go and discover what your next moves are. 20-minute meditation, don't force it. If you force it, you're trying to control. If you're controlling, you're in the outer world. If you're in the outer world, then you're in beta and you don't get any answers. You can guess, and sometimes we guess right. But I would rather know my next move than guess my next 5. Because it's no accident you got chose for this position, part of your journey, which is why you accepted it, by the way.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, no, it didn't feel like awkward. It didn't feel like you were going against what your truth was. But if you graduate high school and you go to college, yes, there's now more uncertainty. You're playing a bigger game. But you see that as a natural progression. I say, well, you know something, this college thing, I'm just getting too scared in case I don't pass. I'm going to quit.
Yeah.
No. You swing the bat and have a play. You get out there and enjoy it. Take the pressure off yourself. And if ever it starts building up, you've got a release valve.
Yeah.
6 seconds in, 6 seconds out. Now, that was 2 minutes. How did you feel?
Yeah, felt good. Yeah.
Not panicky, not stressful, not like frozen in fear?
No. A lot more relaxed than when I started.
And that's 120 seconds. What if you did it for 5 minutes with a smile? Most of us waste more than that waiting in line at Starbucks.
Yeah.
So we can get our adrenals jazzed, all right, to try to cope with all the stress and normalize it.
Yeah.
Spend 5 minutes standing in line at the DIY channel and figure out that you don't need to be stressed. You should always have access to what your intuition is going to tell you. Important points to sum up. One is, if you don't program the GPS with a destination, it can't help you. And what stops a lot of people is that they're only trying to plan their next move to try to be successful or avoid failure. And so you're constantly trying to dodge the bullets rather than focus on the tactical strategy on winning the war.
Yeah.
So you need a true north. It's going to get foggy, and it does. We're in business. We're CEO, we're managing directors. It's part of the game, and you wouldn't have it any other way.
No.
Right? Are there going to be times where you're struggling to make payroll? Yes. Celebrate. Are there going to be times where your suppliers let you down? Yes. Celebrate. Are there going to be times where your customers leave for your competition? Of course, that's part of the game. We wouldn't be here if we weren't able to play that game. But raising our level of consciousness is going to allow us to sail through those bends in the river and the rapids and the storms and ultimately have an amazing adventure rather than get capsized and swim for shore and swear never to get on board a boat again. Part of who you are. So it's be fun. It's one of the reasons you signed up for the game.
Exactly.
So get a picture of what the business is going to look like when it's done in terms of the next iteration of where you see this. Not where you think your partners want it to go, but you feel it should go. And then in the morning, tune in and ask the questions. Not with language. As I say, it doesn't come through in terms of language. It comes through in paragraphs, downloads, entire concepts, whether it's Einstein or Tesla or Alexander Bell or any of the great people who, out of a flash of inspiration, or if you read their words, quiet self-repose, all of the answers suddenly came, or they got a picture of how to make alternate current work in Tesla's example. Just saw it, everything. Boom, it's there. Why? All the answers are there. So putting pressure on yourself to think you're smarter than the field, but you need to tell it where to go. And then tune in. How would I deal with this? Because the heart only knows 2 things. Feels right, doesn't feel right. Occasionally a neutral. And you'd be amazed when you've done EMF Module 1.
Yes.
Right? So remember Tom Campbell?
Yes.
We had him on recently as a bonus call. So Tom is a left-brain pragmatic physicist, Newtonian paradigm. And what actually got him into understanding, as he is now one of the foremost authorities on consciousness and the founding scientist at the Monroe Institute, the one thing that actually was evidential for him as a physicist was that back in the day, he would need, they would do computer code, but it was on punch cards. And you'd have to wait 2 weeks in line at the university to get access to the lab to put in your punch cards, to run your program on the mainframe. And if you got one of those little punch cards wrong, the computer wouldn't run your program. It would give you an error. You'd have to go back, figure it out, and wait 2 weeks again before you could go retry. And he found that through getting into a low alpha state, he would, by using intention, not words, ask where in this stack of cards are the errors. And every single time he was sent to the errors, and there they were when he came out of his alpha state. And he's like, that shouldn't work, because as a physicist, I've been taught that evidence in the physical world is the only thing that matters, but it works and it's consistent. So something beyond the physical is going on. And that led him to an entirely different life path. But right now, you have the best guess on how to run this business on your various punch holes you've got in your cards. But you need to do the error check. Then you can trust which way to go. And you'll have the best ideas, you'll have the best answers, the best insights, all from being in alpha, which is a far cry of walking around with your head in beta, trying to guess, pull things out of the air, cross your fingers, and hope that you don't become a failure. Any questions?
No, I don't think so. I'm trying to make notes quickly just to refresh myself afterwards. But yeah, I definitely have to start in the mornings by picturing what I want to happen and doing as you said. So just doing it calmly and breathing through it. Especially this exercise that you've just done with me now has been amazing. So I've just got to put that into practice every single day, and I've got to do that.
Yeah, and don't put the pressure on yourself, I have to do it. The only thing we will do every day is breathe. Everything else is off the table.
Yeah.
Right? Some days we don't eat. Some days we don't go to the gym. Some days it's like the only thing you can guarantee you'll do every day is breathe.
Yeah.
But now you've got a technique to help with that.
Yes.
However, the last thing I'll leave you with, when you are doing this practice, there's a difference between doing it to try to get an answer and doing it from the place of receiving the right answer. Don't fall into the trap of trying to chase the answer. You're back with the butterfly net and the butterfly.
Okay.
If you're still enough, the butterfly will come and land on you. But if you're running around in your mind trying to find it, it's you're going to scare it away.
Okay.
Neville Goddard calls that adopting the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Best way that I phrase that is, stop trying to solve your problems and start tuning into the solutions.
Yeah, a lot to take in. So I just need to go and digest it now, and just because you hear it time and time again, but when it's sitting there and doing it with somebody, it was a different experience.
So how do you feel about not knowing which move to make or which question to ask now?
I feel okay about it.
Not paralyzed by fear, unquote.
No. I think I'm okay with not knowing. Like you explained earlier, the answers will come if I'm sitting and I'm patiently looking out for them, not chasing them.
Hold a space and allow them to arise. But you have to hold that space, and you can't hold that space if you're not sitting in the chair of alpha. Otherwise, you're back to guessing, and that is a stressful place to live. Yeah,
I like that. I like the chair of alpha.
Belinda, I want to thank you so much for being with me in this last 40 minutes, and I'm excited. Please send an email through to my assistant. Let me know how things unfold over the next few days as you practice.
I will do so. I definitely will. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity.
Very welcome. All right, you take care. Speak soon.
And you. Bye now.